The following is for entertainment purposes only. We are not financial advisors. We are not responsible for any losses, only the profits.
What's happening, Octo family? Wow, what a roller coaster of a ride I had today. Did it feel like March to anybody else today? Holy Toledo. We got so much to go over. Monday, stock market news. First of all, let's talk about WWR, not WWF. Don't get too excited. Westwater Resources, y'all heard of that one? We've been talking about them for so long, dude. I don't even know. Long time. Regardless, we were having fun when it was like $2 way back in the day, but now we've been having fun when it's, where is that now? We've already mooned once, and we mooned today. Anyone was in this? Should have been riding, we were talking about around here to $4 or something. Had some calls, and dude, today was the day. Today was the day. This is a graphite play. Graphite play. If you haven't seen my video on them, check it out. If stuff's going to repeat, it's probably going to dump back down here in a couple days, slowly. Maybe even go a little bit higher. Because historically, this has been still way higher than 624. We'll have to see. Hopefully it keeps going. This is playing on the green thing, whole EV segment. Anytime we're getting some EV love, the EV stuff flying. I am happy to be along for the ride. Speaking of EVs, most underloved EV out there. Canoo, HCAC, took my advice about going to West Hollywood. Guys, y'all been around for a long time. You see my videos about Henny, way back in the day. I was talking, if they want to make this hot dog on wheels cool, they need to take it to West Hollywood. What did they do? They listened to my first videos and redid the investor presentation to match, right? Well, they brought it to these folks right here. The television host, entrepreneur, and designer, Netflix Queer Eye. Y'all ever seen that? Queer Eye? When I first saw the image up here, I was like, all right, these guys look like, all right. West Hollywood for lifestyle, fashion, design tips, QE, episode, round trips, click. They had these guys come and hang out. See? They're tapping into West Hollywood. They're trying to make it cool. What do you think? A little bromance? How about this? This has been deleted from what I can tell from Canoo's Instagram. They put up a GIF, which is this. Check it out. So if you don't know who Casey Neistat is, he's a really famous YouTuber, and he does like reviews. I've only seen like one of his videos about like an electronic scooter, I think a couple years ago or something, but he reviewed it. He did a pretty good job, right? But I checked it out, and he's huge now. But regardless, this GIF was made and put up on their Instagram, which I can't find now. You can see in the background, that's the Canoo. See that Canoo? And there's Casey, and he's got a drone he's flying, plus he had a big camera there. So what's he doing at Canoo? Well, I saw this conversation I found. He posted it on Twitter and said, hey, I really want to get a minivan for the next family car. Current family car is a station wagon SUV. What's the best minivan? He said, so ready for, and then Canoo was replying like, dude, come check it out. They said, sent you a DM about your checking out our square steering wheel and the Canoo at our HQ in Torrance, California. The whole fam can come too. The Canoo seats 7. So what am I getting at? I think this is great. I also checked it out, and they're actually doing some marketing with some other influencers on Instagram I was watching. So that's good. They're getting some, trying to be, the younger crowd to make this thing hip and cool. Like I was comparing this to Apple. You've seen in my other videos. People hated it at first, made fun of it. Oh, look, they just made it colorful and weird looking. But now everyone wants Apple, except for me. Hey, SpaceX, dude. SpaceX decided to launch some rockets. How about some momentous SRAC love? That's not attached to this one, but that's coming next. But regardless, this SpaceX thing was pretty cool, so take a look at that and watch. This has still been rumored to possibly, sometime, maybe, hit the stock market. Elon, of course, denies everything, and I hate that, forget that, but money does talk. We got some Luminar news. Y'all remember them? It's been a long time, like a month, too. Luminar increases guidance, accelerating the deals. Gores, Mr. Alec Gores, ticker GMHIW. The global leader in automotive LiDAR and software technology, powering the introduction of highway auto driving. Pretty neat. Which Gores Metropolis has signed a definitive agreement with. Luminar partnered with the largest global OEM to pursue a common goal of bringing series productions, highly automated tasks to roads globally, accelerating Luminar's leadership position in trucking auto driving for the long haul stuff. Luminar is engaged with 50% more OEM programs from the series production deals to be awarded over the next 24 months. Now up 12, up from 8 in August, only 4 modeled in financial forecast. This is big news. Luminar executed exclusive supply agreement with all 3 of its key LiDAR components, the receiver, ASIC, and the laser, locking in an estimated sub $100 hardware cost and volume. Luminar is concluding a contract manufacturer selection process for series production of Iris, the lead partner and factory selected in Mexico. Luminar is on track for powering series production vehicles by 2022, delivering key milestones of Iris B samples shipped to its lead series production partner Volvo and live on cars. Confirmed and raised the financial outlook. Luminar has increased the target of 2020 order book from 1 billion to approximately 1.3 billion due to new OEM deals and increased existing customer volume outlook provided. Dude, this is before they even switched the ticker. This is sweet. This is something people still aren't really talking about, but dude, give this thing a year or 2 or 3. Holy Toledo. The technology, from what I can understand, is a little bit better than most that's out there. Of course, they've got patents and stuff, but they are far along. This is a good one, dude. I'm liking this one. You can read more about it here if you want. The major achievements for them that they also updated in their new investor presentation. Daimler Truck deal, entered into a strategic partnership with Daimler Truck to pursue a common goal of bringing series production. They're accelerating production programs. Now engaged with 50% more OEMs for series production. On track for powering series production in Vehicle 22. Key supplier agreements now have definitive and exclusive supply agreements for all core LiDAR components. It's all looking really good. Let's move on to some Bill Spackman news. PSTH, the great unicorn hunter himself. So what is going on here? Well, we got an article on CNBC. It's his brother from another mother. I wonder how often he scratches CNBC a check. You think all the times he's been on CNBC is for free? Seth Klarman is betting big on the red hot SPACs picking up shares of Ackman's and Bean's new deals. This news shouldn't be to you guys because you get the news from me, which means you get it like a week early, right? It's kind of odd, you know, when multiple places put out articles, multiple big places like CNBC put out articles days later than us. Kind of makes you think he might be paying them to do it. What do you think? Do we need to go into it? We already went over the numbers, right? Over $400 million bet. We know all that. One of his biggest positions in his fund. It's huge. If you don't know what I'm talking about, watch my 2 past videos on Bill Spackman Ackman. Check this out. Mr. Yellow Capital Management on Twitter. Follow him if you haven't. If you want to know up-to-date stuff about PSTH, he's fast on stuff. He finds out some cool, neat things. This dude named Brent Greenfield, he's a partner at Soroban, has a $256 million position in PSTH. And look who he's following. Mr. Patrick Collison, Mr. Bill Ackman. Patrick Collison is the Stripe CEO. Bill Ackman. All right. Oh, would you look at that? Market Insider actually basically posted about the same article we were just talking about on the same day, but later in the day. You think maybe Ackman's trying to pump this up and get people amped up again? Keep in mind that Bloomberg rumor that was out, we talked about that before. It still took them days, but then all of a sudden everyone was talking about it. Think he might have paid for that one too? Bill's a very smart guy. Pay attention to it. This is a beautiful example, textbook example of what a cup and handle pattern looks like. This is PSTH. So what do you got? You got the chip we talked about, Beauty and the Beast. Turn him sideways, and he's got his cup right on the side here. We've shown this past couple weeks that's probably going to come down, and then it's going to zip right up. And sure enough, that was what was happening today. This puppy was a flying strong. In fact, we have another cup and handle pattern now. Very, very interesting. This is the week to announce. We got Thanksgiving next week. After that, we got December. We got all the big holidays in December. And then we got New Year's. If Bill Ackman is going to release and be on his perfect timing schedule that he always seems to be on, I think this would be the week. This would be the perfect time to do it, is this week. In fact, watch, we're going to get even more SPACs pumping this week. We had some weird ones hit late last week. People know it. People time stuff on purpose before 2021. If it's not this week, it'll probably be after 2021. If he's going to maintain his position as the time master of all time masters. How about some Bitcoins? Any of my bros out there, Bitcoin bros, you out there? Check it out. Citibank reports tips Bitcoin to hit 318,000 by December 2021. So they're saying in like a year and 2 weeks, they want Bitcoin at $318,000. Is anyone at least got their toe dipped in that water just at least a little bit? I want to go over some Jedi mind tricks that the big puppeteers like to play on the puppets down here. If you start really looking at charts, you start seeing patterns. Right? You start looking at patterns. The market makers, and they don't want you to know these things. So check this out. This is the UVXY. This is the VIX, the volatility index that I choose to play. It's one I like. It's one I choose to play. What I have listed on these white bars for you guys and all the dates is every time monthly calls end. Now, if you start really looking at this graph here, see if I can zoom in a little bit more for you. Does that help? There we go. So, you ever notice how a lot of your calls will do pretty good like halfway through the call, but then like right in the last week, you're hoping for that last pump and you're like, I'm up a little green, but I want to wait till the very end and then sell it. And then right after you sell it at either a loss or a small profit or a way smaller profit than you started with or could have had, it starts going up. See that? How about over here in August? Super low, August 20th, halfway through, spiked up, and at the end, really low. See, most people, when do they buy calls? Right in the middle of a 30-day call chain. Why? Because they're usually really cheap. And they're like, wow, I can get 100 shares for this price. I'm not putting it out 60 days. So when should you buy it? Watch the chart and wait until it's at a low point past a call that just ended, is what my suggestion is. So where are we sitting right now? We're sitting coming close to November 24th. As you can see, we are almost absolutely bottomed out on the VIX, sitting at like like $12.93. What I think is going to happen, it's probably going to surf this nice 45-degree line that we have drawn in for you here. It's going to surf it down a little bit. Could go up a little bit, but it's going to just hang out. And then right when we get past November 24th, which is the end of the monthly call, it's going to start going up. Just watch it. I just want you to pay attention, start watching this stuff. Because people don't ever want to admit that you can gain anything by watching these. And this will prove it to you. Hold me to it. Natural gas tanking, going down. Why? They're blaming it on warm weather forecast. The price is straight down. Natural gas went down almost like 15% as a whole. It's just crazy today. Absolutely nuts. Anyone play natural gas? Anyone like swing trade it or anything like that? Let me know. Is it a good time to buy or should we wait another couple weeks? Yeah, we'll put it on the graph and find out. Biden talks. Remember Trump talks? We've been talking about those for a long time. Well, now Biden is the one that's doing the Trump talks, just in front of a different mic, right? What did he talk about today? Charging stations. What happened? Stuff like SBE, mooned. WWR, mooned. Green stuff, the ESG stuff, the Biden stuff we talked about in other Biden to buy videos. Starting to moon. Other than the Greenleaf stuff, the Greenleaf stuff went down today. Why? Because people are taking profits. Because they've run up for a week or two, right? But it created excellent opportunities for buys. So keep that in mind too, the Greenleaf stuff. He also talked about, but I might be saying this wrong, and might know why. It's because I don't play this sector, but just so you know, he brought up Moderna and Pfizer, and he was naming them as the front runner brands he's going to associate with his branded healthcare takeover thing to help fight. Keep that in mind, because I'm darn sure they got stocks, right? Separate, which also businesses can stay up. Okay. He was also saying that he is going to do something to help businesses who have been forced to close or hurt by this thing going on to stay open. How is he going to do that? Probably exactly how the Fed and the banks let Trump handle it, which was to create grants. They're calling them grants on paper for businesses. What those grants actually are loans. So what does that actually do for businesses? Nothing. Other than give government a little bit of control in it and puts them in debt. Has it helped some businesses? I don't really think so. It's helped some stay afloat, yes. But the macro picture is it's not. Businesses aren't getting just like free checks like regular people. Ask me, I know. Ask me. CARES Act will save the businesses hurt by COVID. That's what he's talking about. He said, if he was in, he would pass money right away. Well, again, the money is just never spread right, and that's what should make people really think. I think this is one of the first time that something major has happened where normal folk have gotten checks. I will say that with Trump. No one could deny that. Random people just getting $1,200 checks, getting more for unemployment than going to work and stuff. Absolutely nuts if you ask me that Trump did that. I think he put way too much money. Do I think government should help out in this times? If they're going to force people to close their businesses, yes, but they got to also give businesses money instead of just loans, because then it's actually going to kill off those businesses even more. Just wait. We need to be aligned with other democracies, he said. Right away I thought of who? The who? He said invest in American workers. I thought that was cool. All right. Number one, he wants to invest in American workers. Number two, he said labor is at the table and environmentals are at the table also. So he was saying that he wants to make sure and take care of our labor force, and he wants to make sure the environment's still good if he joins the WHO, the World Health Organization, and the Paris Climate Act or whatever, right? And he said there's a third thing, but he can't announce it till January 21st. That'll be really interesting. He said he's going to obviously have to negotiate with these people to rejoin. I think we're currently out of the WHO, are we? And this last one I thought was really interesting, and I really hope he can pull this off. No government contract will be given to companies that do not make their products here in the United States. If he actually does that, that's really awesome. I hope that is something that happens. Lion Electric responds to the need to electrify Quebec. Does anyone know what stock is in with this one? NGA, the one that I was trying to talk you guys into buy for months and no one would buy it. It's still not cool, so you can still buy it at its floor, not the warrants anymore. Those have already tripled or doubled at least. 2.5 your money. Regardless, Lion Electric, if you haven't seen my video on them, super sweet. They've got all sorts of last mile delivery stuff. They got ambulances, all sorts of electronic vehicles that not many people have. Garbage trucks. So they presented by the Minister of the Environment and Fight Against Climate Change. Lion enthusiastically supports the emphasis placed on electrification of transportation within the plan, particularly in school transportation, transit, and urban trucking. They also have school buses. Lion sees that this plan can accelerate the momentum needed to propel Quebec towards achieving sustainable mobility objectives. Quote, I would like to congratulate the government of Quebec for taking the path of electrifying transportation in such a strong way today. The entire Lion team has dreamed of electrifying heavy-duty transportation for over 10 years. Today, the unveiling of the plan for the green economy confirms that this dream will become reality in Quebec in the coming years. I can also assure you that Lion will produce its experience and expertise at the service of the transportation industry to facilitate the transaction to electrification. Quebecers, I didn't even know that was the thing. Are they doing that right? Quebecers will win by moving towards electrification of heavy transport in Quebec. So what's going on? They got an order. Looking like they're going to get an order from Quebec. They're going to start making it so you have to have green buses. And they're hooking up with them. This is huge. A couple interesting things to note is they're going to electrify 65% of all school buses in operation in Quebec by 2030. Thanks to the investment of $350 million, Lion will leverage its vast experience in electric school transportation to aid in fulfilling these goals and continue to put its buses in service throughout Quebec. The electrification of the school bus is essentially an effective global electrification strategy. Just keep moving towards it. They're also talking about the urban trucking. It just keeps going, man. This is such a cool play here. Annually, each internal combustion school bus, transit bus, and heavy-duty truck on the road account for an average of 23 tons, 75 tons, and 100 tons of greenhouse gases. You know that. You can come read more on this if you want. The link is always there for y'all. This just broke. Scooter startup Bird, y'all heard of them or ridden one of those, discusses going public via SPAC. Right away, I was like, dude, it's going to be SOAC. SOAC. Watch. Bird Rides Inc. is working with Credit Suisse Group to strike a deal with a blank check company. Santa Monica, California-based company has held discussions with prospective special purpose acquisition companies. Plural there, so people ringing their doorbell, right? Bird says, we have no plans to go public this year and remain dedicated to partnering deeply with the cities and neighborhoods we serve during the significant time of need, providing free rides to frontline healthcare workers and discounted rides to community members, and building a sustainable business, yada, yada, yada. Lime raised, you've all heard of Lime, it's kind of a competitor, I guess, $170 million in May in a round led by Uber Technologies, and acquired Uber's electric bike rental business, Jump, as part of the deal. Bird raised funding at $2.85 billion valuation this year, according to PitchBook. Its investors include Sequoia, Accel, Index Futures, among other. That just blew my mind, man. $2.85 billion. I don't know how big this company is, but that just seems insane. I mean, unless they're like all over Asia too, but I don't know. So let's take a look. Rethink urban mobility. It's just a regular electric scooter, man. But, you know, it's foldable. Looks like they are in Europe here. I don't see Asia. Take a ride in 100 plus cities worldwide. It's all over the United States and then Europe. Unbelievable. But I guess this is like a rent thing. Like, okay, you use an app, you know, it shows you where they're at, and you can like, there's a station you go pull up and maybe scan your phone and it take one out. Our fleet. I don't know. Anyone ridden these? Do you see 2.35 billion? Oh, okay, they have bikes. That's cool. A cushioned seat for two. And it's got a nice back shock there. You see that? This is really funny to me. I didn't know they had bikes. That's kind of neat. This will be interesting. Who do you guys think it will be? I guess it's SOAC. My guess is definitely SOAC. Anything else that I missed? Did I miss anything today? There's so much news going on. In fact, I think I might have missed something. Oh yeah, Tesla. This just came out broke. Tesla is going to be on the SP 500. I'm going to call that a speculation right now, but a little voice inside my head is telling me that Tesla's going to moon. Watch. Anyone already in Tesla is going to surf that wave all the way up? Good for you. If you haven't joined our Patreon, please do it. I slide you a bunch of information before I even make it public on here. Also join us on Twitter and StockTwits. I've been putting and hitting those real hard. We've been having some good days, some real good plays coming to life here. Thanks again for stopping by. Make sure you subscribe and like the video.
Did you know that we give away free silver? Simply leave a comment on the video, and as long as you're in the continental United States, you can be automatically entered to win. Please friend us on Twitter and StockTwits.